and welcome back to a Talking Red video. Fletch here. I know it's been a while. I've had some issues to contend with, but I am now back, hopefully on a more consistent basis than before. What a game that I have come back to review. The Liverpool versus Everton game, the Merseyside Derby. What a derby this was. The scoreline will suggest it wasn't that great. And to be fair, from a neutral point of view, I can understand. But as far as it was probably one of the more entertaining derbies in recent years, shall we say. Frustrating for Liverpool. I was incredibly frustrated. It was just frustrating for a number of reasons. But at the same time, it was such a massive relief when Divock Origi, of all people, scored the winning goal. The forgotten man of Liverpool, but we'll get more into him a little later. But during this busy festive period, I think for these kind of big games, and especially for a derby, I think it doesn't really matter about the performance. It just matters about the result. And fortunately, we got the result thanks to a calamity error from their goalkeeper and a bit of fortunaity involved as well. But I would say that after probably years of a little bit of injustice in key games like this and other kind of times where we've not been playing poorly but have still managed to not come out of a game with anything despite the opposition may not being that great or whatever, we just finally got the breakthrough that we needed in this game. So first and foremost on the derby itself, I thought it was a great derby. I thought Everton were more attacking than they have been in recent weeks. Credit Marco Silva for that. They said before the game that they were going to show no fear, and they did that. And barring the first 20 minutes, if that, where Liverpool was sort of on top, and then Everton had one good chance, then Liverpool sort of took over, and the momentum sort of switched. They were looking very dangerous on the counter, Everton. Not so much in the second half. I thought the second half, Liverpool controlled, dominated. Everton did get a couple of lucky breaks here and there, breaking, but they didn't really test our defence that much, or Alisson for that matter that much, as the game went forward. But I still think that they will look at this game as being a bit harsh to be outdone by that late Origi goal. And I think if the boot had been on the other foot, I would definitely be saying the same. But the frustration was just the missed opportunities. Like, we've been saying for weeks that the link-up play between the front three has been getting better, and I thought this game was probably the best of that. I thought the link-up play was pretty good. The pressing game, it was nice to see the pressing game back with high intensity. I'd like to see more of that going forward, especially seeing as though we're heading into a busy period of time where the games are coming thick and fast. So there may be a few more tired legs out there than there normally would be. So the pressing game for now would need to be on point, and I think this may be the perfect time to properly execute that over this next few weeks. But just the missed opportunities. I think Mane had about 3 or 4 decent opportunities to score, but his finishing was just off the mark. Firmino had a couple of opportunities. His finishing and his performance in general, I thought, was a little bit meh, as it has been for most of this season. Salah had 1 or 2 opportunities that he missed. It was just a bit of a frustrating day for the front three. And I mentioned Firmino there, and I gotta say, like, he's a vital part of Klopp's plan, and he's not scoring goals, but he does more than just score goals as the false number 9 striker. Obviously, his pressing game is good. He creates a lot of space for others to move into. Kind of goes a little bit underappreciated and under the radar kind of thing. And I think that helps him in a lot of ways. I just think that with this sort of like new deeper role he's playing, he's either still trying to find it out, or he just doesn't like it at all. and I can see it being frustrating. And I think we can, and I'm a bit surprised that he's actually executed a little bit more of a deeper role for Firmino as Klopp, now that we seem to have got our defence pretty much on song. I think now we can execute Firmino going more further forward like he has been doing over the past couple of seasons, and we can rely more on our defence and midfield, when the right midfielders play, of course, to kind of rely on themselves a little bit. But I will say this, Firmino probably will be the likely one to be more rotated over these next few weeks. Unless we start executing more of a high-tense pressing game than we have been doing, I think that maybe Firmino will be looked at as maybe guy's not really performing that great. He's a vital part. Maybe he may be rotated. Maybe the rotation will not be personnel-wise. Maybe it's just be position-wise. Maybe he will drop into like a number 10 role, and then we'll allow either Sturridge or maybe even Origi, who I'll get onto in a moment, coming in as more of a striking option. I'm not really sure on that. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below on what you think about Firmino's problem and what you think is the best solution for it. I did mention Origi, and of course we are not. Well, it'd be incredibly unlikely that we were not going to mention Origi. The forgotten man at Liverpool, shall we say, the guy who was pretty much out the door this summer, and then he was pretty much out the door, and then like after another week or so, he was staying, and incredible attitude to have. Incredible attitude that he has come back after being told he wasn't going to go and have a career at Liverpool. He was going to go out on loan again, or he was going to go permanently. Comes back, changes Klopp's mind. Klopp says he's staying, works his way, gets his chance on the massive stage, the Merseyside Derby. It's a big stage for him. Go out there, lad. Go grab yourself a goal. And he could have had two. He hit the post moments before actually scoring. I think if he maybe had learnt to use his weaker left foot, maybe he could have had 2 goals in the space of the few minutes that he came on for. But we'll take the 1 goal. It was absolutely superb. He gambled on Pickford making a mistake, which was great to see. And he got his reward for it. And I tell you what, that will be a massive goal going forward if things continue the way they are for Liverpool. We'll look back on this result and think this was a massive, massive result, and a backup player, as he is now, went out there and scored it. And I think we will be seeing a lot more of Origi over the next few weeks. I already mentioned Firmino's slightly worrying problem. But I think with rotation, we do know like Klopp likes to rotate his players, especially around about this time. I do honestly think that we will be seeing a bit more of Origi over the coming weeks. I think his physicality will be needed. I think his pace will be needed. I mean, there was one instance already in that game where he came on and he just turned the defender and sort of left him for dead, and maybe with a bit of a better delivery could have set up Sturridge to score. But it was still great to see, and it's a pretty good option to have. I'm not trying to over exaggerate this in any sort of way. Of course, I am happy that he scored. I'm happy that Liverpool got the win and whatever. And we tend to go a bit OTT with this kind of thing on a particular player. But you know, there always has been something with Origi. I just don't think that he's shown enough of it for a guy that has so much potential. Maybe there's still some life left in him at this club, and I think we'll know more about whether there is still life in him at this club over this busy period of time, if he has started to be used more and more. But scoring the winner in a Merseyside derby is definitely the best way to start. As far as the team goes, I give Alisson a 9 out of 10. He made a superb save in the first half. A very instinctive, save from, I believe, Andre Gomez. He made I don't honestly know how he saved it, and obviously Joe Gomez made up for. He sort of followed him up on that and cleared it off the goal line, but I still don't know how he saved that. And I think in the second half as well, he made a couple more decent saves or snuffed out any sort of danger. And I thought his distribution as well was pretty good today, barring one or two mistakes. But apart from that, that's just being nitpicky. 9 out of 10. Alisson, outstanding goalkeeper, and that's why you go out and you spend big money on big players, because they turn up in games like this. Because at that point, Everton was starting to get a bit of momentum on their side, and if they go 1-0, we did not really look like we were creating chances, but we weren't really testing Pickford that much. So it was a massive save at that crucial point. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I thought his delivery was a bit hit and miss today, barring the final delivery, which helped set up the goal. But I thought defensively he did really well. It was up against Bernard, and at times he was left a little bit 2v1 when the attacking Digner, whatever his name is, was obviously galloping forward. But I thought defensively Trent did really well. And like I say, the only part I can really fault him for was probably some set pieces which didn't quite hit the mark. But 7 out of 10 for Trent. 7 out of 10 for Robertson as well. I thought he was energetic down the left. I thought defensively again he was great. He did well to. I mean, he is fast anyway, Robertson, but he did very well to counter the pace of Walcott somewhat. And I think as the game went on, Walcott was just fading out the game more and more, and that allowed Robertson to adventure more forward. Played some nice crossfield balls, trying to pick out the likes of Salah and Shaqiri, particularly in the first half. But another decent performance from Robertson. Defensively, like I say, he was great. Van Dijk, 8. Dominating performance again, just an absolute beast. His organisation, a proper captain's performance. His organisation was great. Even when he's on the ball, he's just pointing out at where players should be, and it's great to see that from this captain. And I've always said that I like Henderson and stuff, but I think with Henderson now being seen as a bit of a backup player, he's not necessarily a starting name on a team sheet. I think we do need a player as our captain that is a name on the team sheet every single week, and Van Dijk currently fits the mould. Henderson can still be vice captain if he wants, but I just think that Van Dijk needs to be made permanent captain, and that's nothing against Henderson. I just think that we need a player that's going to be on the field properly and not a backup captain as it is. And same with Milner as well. I know he's a vice captain. I know he's a great player. I know he's very experienced. But again, we just need, I think, someone that's going to be more of a permanent fixture in the team rather than a backup. I thought Gomez did great. I thought, apart from, there was like one minor error which didn't really come to anything anyway. But apart from that, he was great. He basically had Richarlison's number all over the field. He was stronger than Richarlison. He was quicker. He gave away a couple of fouls, but they weren't anything fouls. He basically outstrengthened the Brazilian, and he just threw himself to the floor, it seemed. So I won't criticise him too much for that. He didn't really do much wrong, Gomez, and of course he made that incredible goal line clearance in the first half from the Alisson wonder save. So he gets an 8 as well. I thought Fabinho in midfield was fantastic. His performance was incredible, to say that this was his Merseyside Derby debut. He crunched into challenges. He broke up play really well. He kept things simple. He just did really well. I can't wait to see him a more permanent fixture in that midfield. I think after today's performance, he needs to be starting every week, because he basically gives us the platform to build upon. He's always looking forward with the ball as soon as he breaks up play. He's always looking to keep it simple But like I say, he always has to keep it simple, but he looks to go forward, and that's what we want from this. We can have Wijnaldum in midfield, who can look to keep the ball ticking over. He can look to spray it out left and right and stuff. But Fabinho, breaking up play, being the platform to build upon, is looking great right now. I give his performance a 9 along with Alisson. Speaking of Wijnaldum, he kept things ticking over in the midfield. He was a good performance from him. Defensively, he was good. Dribbled the ball out, carried the ball really well, just kept the ball moving. I thought it was a great performance from him. I'd give him a 7.5. For Shaqiri, in the just over an hour he played, I think. A couple of decent through balls and crosses. He really should have scored in the first half. You saw Salah a few weeks ago. I don't remember who it was again. I think it was it the Huddersfield game? It might have been the Huddersfield game. He had a similar sort of chance to Salah's goal. I think it was Huddersfield. Salah basically went across the goalkeeper with his right foot and just poked it into the back of the net. I think Shaqiri's effort like that, which was similar to that, I think he should have done better with. Should have really opened the scoring a lot sooner than what we did. But apart from that, it was a pretty good performance from him, but I'd score him a 7. Mohamed Salah, a couple of good opportunities, but fairly quiet otherwise. He was always looking to get in behind, but the ball was just lacking that little bit of quality to get to him on most times. And to be fair, he was playing mainly up front, and Yerry Mina was pretty much winning everything in the air that was coming his way. But he did show a lot of good strength against him. He did actually battle quite well against him, so I'll give him a 7.5. Mane, he worked very hard. He never let Coleman out of his sight going forward. He was always a constant threat. He should have scored, though. He had plenty of opportunities in which he should have scored from or done better with, but he failed to do so. And there was also something I noticed, that he was moving into the centre a little bit. Now, I know that for his country, he does play through the centre. So I was just wondering if this was sort of like a bit of an evolution to his game a little bit. He was swapping with Firmino and Shaqiri a lot during the game. Just at small times during the game, he'd just move into the centre for a few minutes, then move back out wide. I'm just wondering if his pace going through the middle is something that we're working on, as just sort of something just to keep the opponents guessing. Just something to keep an eye on for future games. I don't know whether it was just done for this game or whether that's going to be something that we work on in the future, but I give Mane a 8. Would have been probably a 9.5 had he buried one of them chances. Roberto Firmino, I've spoke about him already and his little bit of a problem. He works hard. He worked hard in this game. He links up play was pretty hit and miss in this game. You know, he'd do something good 1 second, and then he'd just overdo it the next. Just needs a bit of confidence back, I think. He just hasn't. He either needs a bit of a rest or a bit of confidence, maybe even a bit of both. He hasn't really had much since the World Cup. Hasn't looked the same player since the World Cup. I don't know what it is. Maybe resting him against Burnley, which we should win anyway. Maybe I could see that happening, especially when you consider that we have Bournemouth at the weekend, which is going to be a highly energetic game. So I can see as maybe resting Firmino, and then when you consider that we've got a must-win game against Napoli on that same week, I can see that happening. But we'll get into more of the Burnley game in a future video. But yeah, I just think that maybe he just needs a bit of confidence and a bit of fitness back. 7 for Firmino. As for the subs, I didn't think Keita and Sturridge made much of an impact when coming on. I thought Keita did okay with a few good touches and passes. He slotted into midfield really well, but didn't really have much of an impact, so I scored them both a 5. And Origi gets a 10 just for the goal, just solely for the goal. Like I say, probably should have scored a little slightly earlier with the post thing, where he should have probably hit it with his left foot. But I can forgive him for that, just for the incredible story and for the incredible goal. What a way to win a Merseyside Derby. Burnley are up next. And we'll be doing a video on that game, previewing that, which should be out before the game, obviously. So it should be out over the next couple of days when I'm not 100% sure. But that should be out soon. And it just leaves Liverpool unbeaten still on 36 points. 11 wins from 14 games with 3 draws. No losses. Obviously, that was the definition of unbeaten. 2 points off Manchester City, who also won this weekend, 3-1 against Bournemouth, who coincidentally we are facing next Saturday, so that's going to be an interesting game. Bournemouth normally do pretty good against us, so I'm sort of a little bit skeptical about that game, if that's the right word. But yeah, it should be a good game. But first things first, we've got to focus on Burnley midweek. And like I say, I'll be doing a video on that, previewing the game, previewing Burnley. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments whatsoever on the game itself, or maybe the individual performances, maybe you got your own ratings, or any of the problems that I've highlighted during this game, or anything else, I would love to hear them in the comment section below. Otherwise, if you like the video, hit the like button on the way out. If you like the content or want to see more of it, or if you're just basically new here, hit the subscribe button. That'll be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I've been Fletch. This has been a Talking Red video, talking all things Liverpool. Liverpool win the Merseyside Derby 1-0 thanks to Divock Origi's goal. I'm out of here. I will see you all in another video.